What's happening, you beautiful geeks and geekettes? Welcome to a brand new episode of Cosplay Chris, and today it is another evolution episode. Today we are going to be looking at the evolution of Ben Affleck's Batman suit, starting with Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, right up until The Flash that is due out in a couple of months' time. Now, please keep in mind when it comes to the reference I'm using when it comes to Affleck's suit in The Flash, it is very limited at the moment. We have a few shots from the trailer and a brand new action figure coming out from McFarlane Toys that essentially looks like a mixture between Giga Chad and Handsome Squidward, but we'll get to that later. So if you're new to the Evolution series, welcome, may God have mercy on your soul. It's just a fun little video where we look at the evolution of a certain actor's costumes from a certain franchise. We'll go over some tidbits, some fun facts, some behind the scenes photos, some actual stills from the film, some publicity shots, even including a shot like this beautiful photo of Affleck in his suit with that beautiful beard. The fact that they had the balls to release a photo like this with that exquisite looking beard is just a testament to how cool this suit is. Wait a minute. Balls? Beards? This video is sponsored by Manscape. Okay, so it's pretty safe to say from time to time I can be a very, very hairy human, and there's nothing wrong with that, but so much so when I grow my beard fully out, it actually connects with my chest hair. Look, let's not beat around the bush with it, get it? But from time to time, you just need to do a bit of landscaping, or in this case, manscaping. Manscaped now has beard products and is going even further with their brand new Weed Whacker 2.0. The leaders in the below the waist grooming are traveling north of your South Pole with their revolutionary grooming products. The new Weed Whacker 2.0 and their new beard line confirms they have the best tools for your hygiene toolbox. Now, first and foremost, I'd like you to meet the Beard Hedger Pro Kit. This is the ultimate package that makes it easier than ever to craft your signature look. It all starts with the cordless electric Beard Hedger. The Beard Hedger is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to single stroke efficiency that brings satisfaction one stroke at a time. The Pro Kit also comes with 4 dermatologically tested formulations for your post-trim care. This includes Manscaped's beard shampoo and conditioner. We've also got beard oil and beard balm to moisturize, style, and shimmer your new beard. Plus, the kit has 3 gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors. With a nice beard, your face is perfectly groomed, right? Wrong. You need to keep an eye out for those tough to trim ear and nose hairs. The brand new Weed Whacker 2.0 offers improved blades and skin safe technology with a no tugging guarantee. It's never been so painless to mind your manholes. And the good news is the Performance Package 4.0 comes with a Weed Whacker 2.0 and all the other below the belt waist grooming products Manscaped is known for. Your significant other will be delighted to see you cover all bases, if you know what I mean. So get 20% off and free shipping with the code cosplaychris at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the promo code cosplaychris. A massive thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video, and always use the right tools when it comes to Manscaped. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at the evolution of Batfleck's Batsuits. Try saying that 20 times. So in 2013, it was announced that Ben Affleck was going to be cast as Batman, and the internet was absolutely ecstatic and just over the moon with the news.
Look on this thing, I looked down the first comment, it's like, Ben Affleck's going to be Batman. The first one just goes, no!
But in all seriousness, upon the announcement, I was kind of like, I didn't expect that, but I can see it. The guy has the build for it, he definitely has the look for it, and he definitely has the fucking chin for it. Look at that thing, it was carved out of granite. They then got to work on building a Batsuit, something new, something that we had never seen before, something that was very reminiscent of The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. In comes Jose Fernandez, who had founded Ironhead Studios with his incredible crew. Now, Jose has roots to the Batman films. He started as a freelancer on Batman Returns, sculpting one of Michelle Pfeiffer's battle-damaged Catwoman cows. He then went on, at the age of 26, to build Val Kilmer's Batsuits in the film, along with the Robin costume. It's quite incredible when you think about it. I look back at what I was doing at 26 and it just pales in comparison to what Jose was achieving. He then went on to do Batman and Robin, and he was then tasked with building the Batsuit for Ben Affleck, as well as the Gal Gadot Wonder Woman armor, along with his incredible crew at Ironhead Studios. So the notion was they wanted it to look like something from The Dark Knight Returns. So essentially fabric hugging a muscular structure, but it also acts as armor. It's not actually Affleck's anatomy you see under there, but it is a muscular anatomy that also acts as a bulletproof armor. Not to mention a one-piece cowl where Affleck and the stunt crew were able to turn their heads. Now, if you've seen my video on how Affleck was able to turn his head, I will leave the link down below if you have not seen it. Now, I did end up doing a little Cliff Notes version on Instagram the other week. I'm going to show you the clip now on how Affleck and the stunt crew were able to turn their head in the one-piece Batfleck cowl. So when Batman v Superman was gearing up and Ben Affleck was cast, the notion was that they wanted him to be able to turn his head in the Batsuit, which is something we had never seen before in terms of a one-piece cowl. Granted, we had seen it in The Dark Knight, but keep in mind, that was a two-piece cowl. Jose Fernandez of Ironhead Studios, who had also worked on Batman Returns, Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin, was tasked with creating the Batsuit, including a one-piece cowl that allowed Affleck and his stunt double Richard Citrone to turn their heads. With the help of expert mold makers Rob Freitas and Jim McLaughlin, Rob Freitas was able to construct a collapsible core, and Jim McLaughlin made a mold that paired together to create collapsible areas of the cowl. Now, when you look at that big, bulky, muscular neck of the BVS Batfleck cowl, those are actually collapsible air pockets inside the neck that allows for a lot more flexibility. The cowls themselves were cast in foam latex, so that required the foam to be injected into the molds. Added bonus of having foam latex allows for even more flexibility. Now you think that's all said and done, but no, there is actually an internal structure inside the cowl, almost like a skull cap that you would see some puppeteers wear on animatronics and stuff like that, made out of a much more rigid material like a fiberglass or a resin. Now this would actually lock onto Affleck or the stunt double's face, so you have one anchor point on top, and you also have an anchor point down the bottom where the cowl anchors down, or velcros down in this case, onto the rest of the Batsuit. Paired with the collapsible air pockets inside the neck, you are able to turn the cowl in a nice fluid motion that won't look cheesy at all. And with that skull cap locking onto the face, the mouth opening does not want to go anywhere else but the same movement and the same direction as the head. And there you have it, Geeks and Geekettes. That is how Batfleck was able to turn his head in Batman v Superman. So they had a method down pat for the cowl. In terms of the rest of the suit, it was a lycra bodysuit with foam latex muscles glued onto it. Now, this isn't your regular muscles that you've seen me use in the past, or other cosplayers and costumers and stuff like that. This was a specifically engineered muscle suit, especially when it came to the abs section. There were different platings on the abs. It wasn't just a one-piece ab section. It allows for that ab crunch. And that is one of the things that can either make or break a suit. Not just a bat suit, but any costume that has an ab understructure. It can end up looking like a six-pack of bread rolls you get from the bakery, or it can look like someone with an incredibly ripped six-pack just doing an ab crunch. And I'd like to say that they actually nailed this. It looks pretty damn good and pretty damn close to something that is a lot more natural and organic. The fabric itself was a textured fabric from a place in LA called By Design, who do all of the fabrics for pretty much DC, Marvel, and everything in between. Now, when it came to the gauntlets, the boots, they were all custom made. The boots, and from what Jose has told me, I met Jose in 2016 when I went to Ironhead Studios and pestered the absolute shit out of him. They were made by a cobbler that actually is down the road. They cobble a lot of boots for them, so they don't actually make the boots on site. They're done separately. I do believe they supply a few pieces for the cobbler to use on the final boot, but in terms of the gauntlets, they were made in-house along with the gloves. Now, the belt's an interesting one. Look at this photo here. You can see in this behind-the-scenes photo of the lineup of the boots, and you see the belt right there. It actually has a specially machined clasp. Now, usually the front buckle is a facade, and you just pop it on and just Velcro it or snap it on at the back, but apparently these buckles were actually machined to clasp together, which is pretty damn cool. Now, that's all well and good, but let's look at some test photos of Affleck in his Batsuit. Now, this, what you see right here, is the one photo that Kevin Smith apparently saw of Affleck in the suit all those years ago, and he hinted it's very Dark Knight Returns. Now, it looks very similar to the final Batsuit, but the cowl, the bodysuit, the chest emblem, everything is very different from the final result on what we see on film. Affleck is a lot more heavier in this. Supposedly, I don't know if someone has cleaned this particular photo up, he did have a beard at the time, a very heavy beard. Fast forward to these test photos along with some test photos of him in the mech suit with a very different looking helmet. Now this is a lot closer to what we get with the final result. This isn't the final cowl from my understanding, and you can tell just by the way the ears have a curvature inwards as opposed to straight up. Still very cool nonetheless, and this just gives you a good idea of how the final suit is going to look, and then obviously what we see on screen is absolutely brilliant. It is by far my favorite Batsuit out of all the live action Batman that we see on film. Now, not only do we have the regular suit in BVS, we also have the mech suit, which essentially is to buy Batfleck time against Superman. It's not going to save his life, it's just going to buy him a few extra minutes against the Man of Steel. So essentially for the base suit, they used the original BVS suit, and on top of that, they were doing traditional sculpture when it came to the armor, as you see right here. A little bit of 3D printing here and there, but for the most part, it was traditional sculpture, bit of 3D scanning as well, and I love the paint finish on this, and the fact that it's an actual practical suit. Granted, they did use a mocap suit now and then for those maneuvers that are a little bit tricky for Affleck, the stunt crew, to maneuver in, but they did make an actual practical suit that Affleck actually wore. I love the variations with the battle damage, especially on the chest, and you see where Superman has pushed Batman in that building, and it just looks like clay. Like, that's how strong the Man of Steel is. Now, when it came to the LED eyes on the helmet, they were actually around the perimeter of the eyes, and then digitally they were going afterwards in post-production and fill that in to make it a full LED glowing eye. Now we have the regular suit, we have the mech suit, and in a dream sequence we have my personal favorite, the nightmare suit. So this is essentially post-apocalyptic version of the regular suit. We have a custom-made trench coat, we have tactical pants, a drop holster, we have a scar L, we have goggles and a scarf, and I think it's the most badass iteration of Batman next to the regular suit from BVS. And now if you want, I highly recommend checking out Doug Stewart's Instagram page. He did all the weathering on the nightmare suits, the regular suits and stuff like that, as well as the mech suit. The guy knows his weathering. He's like a weathering god. So he did a lot of work on the nightmare suit. He knows the ins and outs of it, and it's just a badass looking suit. And the fact that they could film that one fight sequence all in one take is just absolutely brilliant. The suit looks great in action. I've always been an advocate for, I would love to see a whole entire film based on that particular suit. Now, backtracking to the regular BVS suit, it was actually a mixture of a practical cape and a CGI cape. So the actual practical cape was a heavy urethane, and it did get quite heavy for Affleck and the stunt performers. And when they were doing heavy stunts, they just threw a couple of motion tracker dots at the base of the cowl, and they put that in later in post-production. Just makes more sense. As you can see this footage here of Richard Citrone, Affleck's stunt double, doing the warehouse fight. It's just way easier to maneuver in this suit without the cape, and you can just add it in post-production. And quite frankly, it looks pretty seamless. So between BVS and Justice League, we had Suicide Squad 2016, and Affleck actually made a cameo in that, utilizing the original BVS regular looking suit. There only had been a bit of time between BVS and Suicide Squad filming, so they could utilize the pre-existing suits. Now in the sequence with Deadshot and his daughter, for one frame, we actually see the Justice League cowl. Apparently it was fresh out of the mold, they wanted to test it out, so we go from the BVS cowl to the Justice League cowl. And that's pretty much it. Like, there's nothing really else to say. It's the regular BVS suit, but the fact that they also tried to sneak in the Justice League cowl, and I didn't realize it till years later, till someone brought it to my attention. I'm like, holy shit, that's the JL cowl. Perfect segue, Justice League 2017. Or Justice League. So when Justice League was gearing up, production went over to the UK, which meant in-house costume designers, costume builders, artisans, fabricators, and stuff like that. So Ben Affleck's brand new Batsuit was built in the UK. Very much the same to the BVS suit in terms of the overall design, color scheme. Just, if you look at them side by side, same, but different at the same time. There's extra plating and stuff like that. The textured fabric is a lot more darker in the grays and a lot more high res when it comes to that texture. But also, mentioning like I did with the Suicide Squad cameo, the cowl is very different. Now the reason being, and I've made a whole video on this, Ironhead Studios essentially did not get credited for Batman v Superman. They were asked to return for Justice League. Jose stepped down and said, no, we did all that beautiful work for BVS when it came to Affleck and Gal Gadot's costumes, but we didn't get credited, so we're gonna pass that on. So essentially they had to hand over their molds, because technically and legally those molds are the property of Warner Brothers. So they shipped them off to the UK, and they couldn't reverse engineer that beautiful cowl mold that Rob Freitas and Jim McLaughlin had engineered. So they had to make a completely new cowl, and they went from foam latex to urethane, and apparently Affleck hated it. It's going from something so good to something so uncomfortable. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind the cowl at all. I just obviously prefer the BVS one. To me, he kind of sometimes looks like a cat that's kind of in like attack mode with the ears back. And there is a sequence in the film where you see Bruce take off part of the costume, and there is an undersuit, like an underplating that you see there. And here are photos of that particular suit, which is really cool. They're kind of really delving into the mythology and the workings, the inner workings of the suit. Like we saw in BVS, he wears a voice modulator, and the cowl is actually armor plated underneath. Hence why he's able to cop 2 close range bullets to the head and survive. But yeah, just a cool little tidbit that you can see right there in the film, and also to see this costuming in real life. I love it. I love the understructure. It's very cool, even though you see it for one sequence in the film. Now, much like the regular suit and the mech suit in BVS, we also have the regular suit and the tactical suit in Justice League. Again, Batfleck is going up against creatures that are not of this world, so he needs something a bit more heavy duty that's going to buy him time, much like the mech suit. Enter the tactical suit. Now, from the neck down, I adore this suit. Again, they're utilizing the understructure of the regular suit from Justice League with extra armor plating on top. It's just when we get to that cowl with the goggles, that's just where it loses me. But overall, aesthetic-wise, it's a beautiful looking suit. I would love to see what this suit would look like with the regular BVS cowl. And you can see in this footage here, costume designer Michael Wilkinson going through the process of making this particular suit. He also has the BVS cowl next to the brand new JL cowl. Again, foam latex versus urethane. Foam latex is the winner through and through, especially the way they engineered and designed that beautiful original BVS cowl. Now, before going on to Zack Snyder's Justice League, a quick little shout out and mention to what could have been Ben Affleck's solo Batman film entitled The Batman. It was going to feature Joe Manganiello back as Deathstroke. We saw him at the end of Justice League in that post-credit scene, and some concept art leaked online of the Batsuit and the Deathstroke outfit. So here is the concept art that was put online, and I actually dig this iteration of what Batfleck could have looked like. It's a lot more leaner, a lot more tactile, a lot more plated. Don't get me wrong, I do love the look of the BVS suit and even the Justice League suit, but this is really cool. This is essentially him kind of upgrading his kit, but we also see how badass Deathstroke could have looked as well. It could have just been oh so good. Apparently the story was going to feature Deathstroke absolutely fucking with Batman and Bruce and picking off certain members of the Wayne family. The end of the film was supposed to take place in the streets of Gotham and also featured Batgirl. Again, what could have been, ultimately we got The Batman by Matt Reeves starring Robert Pattinson. I do love that film. I love that film on its own. It's, as they say, it's the Elseworlds telling along with Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. Still cool nonetheless to see what could have been with this awesome looking design. Now, Zack Snyder's Justice League. So the reason why I'm mentioning this, even though it's the Justice League suit, is because they reused the Nightmare suit for additional footage. There was that beautiful Nightmare sequence at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is just badass. It's cool to see Jared Leto back as the Joker and sort of redeeming himself and not being as cringe as he was in the 2016 Suicide Squad. We also see a Nightmare version of Flash, Cyborg, Mira, Deathstroke looking like a badass Manganiello with a mohawk. Yes, please. But yeah, they broke the Nightmare suit out of storage. Now, looking at these photos here of the Nightmare suit on display in Texas, I believe, during the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League, you can see how deteriorated the cowl was. They didn't cast up new cowls for this one. They went into the Warner Brothers archives and found the old school Nightmare cowls. They cut out the bottom of the nose. But from my understanding, Weta Digital, who did the effects for that additional photography, cleaned up the cowl a lot digitally because it was quite broken down. Apparently, Affleck broke one of the cowls whilst trying to pull it on and off. I don't blame him because the foam latex at this point, it was like 2013, 2014 when these cowls were cast. The foam latex would have been oh so brittle, from Affleck sweat, Citroen sweat, the rest of the stunt crew sweat, so that definitely helps the breaking down process of foam latex. So you see that neck right there, it looks like a waffle, so Weta had to go in, digitally clean up the cowl, but we see Affleck once again as Nightmare Batman, and of course in the regular Justice League suit. I do love Zack Snyder's Justice League, it's a beautiful film. The runtime is completely warranted, and just to see Affleck be the proper Batfleck that he was like in BVS, but he's kind of redeemed himself. He's not a side joke as he was in the Justice League version. But technically it was cool to see him come back as a favor for Zack. They literally filmed this in his front yard with a green screen. They did that for all of them, which is really cool. Just like in the Hollywood Hills, Affleck just standing there in his Nightmare suit. He actually didn't interact with Leto's Joker at all. They filmed on separate days because of scheduling. I do know he was with Joe Manganiello on the day, which is pretty cool. But my god, that cowl is so deteriorated. But Weta did an incredible job cleaning it up. And now last but certainly not least, because this is going to be Affleck's swan song as the Dark Knight, The Flash, due out in a couple of months' time. Now again, I'm only working with screenshots from trailers and also a brand new action figure that has been released. Again, looks very reminiscent of Giga Chad, cross between handsome Squidward. But right up front, this is a very different and interesting looking suit. I really hope it's one of those things where the hero suit that we see on Affleck is a lot better and put together than the one that we see Rick English, who is the motorcycle stunt double for Affleck, and also Pattinson wearing on the set in Glasgow, Scotland. You can see these set photos here. It's a very kind of armored but also loose looking suit. I believe that's because it's a stunt suit. It has to be comfortable for Rick to wear on that motorcycle, because that looks like a beast of a motorcycle to maneuver, keep in mind. So we do have some screenshots here, but also a nice look at the McFarlane Toys Batfleck action figure. Again, very reminiscent of the tactical suit from Justice League. I still think it looks cool nonetheless. That head sculpt is just odd. Very, very odd. But for the most part, we still have the grey undersuit, the plating, again, very reminiscent of the tactical suit. The belt still maintains the same color palette as the previous Batfleck belts, but the design overall in terms of the clasps, the cylinders, the pouches, all looks very different. Like, subtle to the untrained eye, but upon closer inspection, I was about to do a McBain. Upon closer inspection, these are loafers. Upon closer inspection, completely different in terms of details. And that's it, geeks and geekettes. I don't really have much to say about the Flash suit. Again, you watch, as soon as this video drops, we'll get like a brand new trailer and then like brand new stills of Affleck in the suit, and I'll be like, damn it, why didn't I wait? Now, I just want to close this video with a tribute to Affleck. A couple of days ago, he did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, and this isn't breaking character. This is just my tribute to Affleck, because some of the stuff he said in there broke my fucking heart, man. I will leave the link to the article in the video description. Highly recommend checking out. At the end of the day, a lot of us want Affleck to do his solo film as Batman. It's not going to happen anymore. You also have to keep in mind the man's a human being. He has a lot of demons, and he touches on that. And this one particular excerpt that I want to go over just really hit home for me and just makes me realize, yes, he's human. To me, he's a great Batman. To a lot of people, he's a great Batman. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but that's the fun of having a favorite Batman. We can talk about it and exchange notes and be like, this is why I like X, Y, and Z, and then hear the other person's counterpoint. So this particular quote was his experience filming the original Justice League that came out in 2017 when he was in London. He was without his kids. That was hard, and I started to drink too much. And I was back at the hotel in London. It was either that or jump out the window. And I just thought, this isn't the life I want. My kids aren't here. I'm miserable. You want to go to work and find something interesting to hang on to, rather than just wearing a rubber suit. And most of it, you're just standing against a computer screen going, if this nuclear waste gets loose, well, that's fine. I don't condescend to that or put it down. But I got to a point where I found it creatively not satisfying. Just also, you're sweaty and exhausted, and I thought, I don't want to participate in this in any way. I don't want to squander any more of my life, for which I have a limited amount. Again, that broke my heart reading it, and the guy's human at the end of the day, but all we can do as Affleck fans, for those who love his take on the Dark Knight, is just appreciate what we got and what we're about to get in The Flash. He also says in this particular article he finally nailed the characterization of Batman in The Flash, which makes me even more excited. And yes, for his final scenes in Flash, I'm probably going to shed a tear. I absolutely adore the man as Batman. He's my favorite Batman. He made me realize just how severely flawed Batman is. I had always known that the character was flawed and damaged and troubled, but he just brought it to a whole nother level, and I thank him for it. He did an incredible job. Again, he's not everyone's cup of tea as the Dark Knight, but for what he did, I will always remember, and always remember going to the movies for the first time to see BVS, Justice League, and then watching Zack Snyder's Justice League and thinking, that guy is my fucking Batman. And there you have it, Geeks and Geekettes, the evolution of Batfleck's Batsuit, starting with BVS right up until The Flash, and I just can't wait to see his swan song to the Dark Knight. With that being said, drop a comment below, let me know what is your favorite iteration of Affleck's Batsuit. If you're not an Affleck fan, which suit just still stands out to you? It'd be cool to know. Again, a massive thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Wherever you are in the world, please have yourselves an absolute cracker of a day. I hope you're well, hope you're happy, be merry, be silly, and until next time, Geeks and Geekettes, please always remember, Affleck did it best. To me, anyway.